Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. Today is Friday, the 10th of January, and it's the end of a tumultuous week. We have seen highs. We broke above 102,000 on, I think, Wednesday. And then my laptop blew up. And of course, this looks slightly different because I've had to remake absolutely everything. We did a test stream yesterday. Everything seemed to go quite well. So we are back. We're going to try and give you all the crypto news in 1 hour. That is all we have today. And we have a lot to get through. We are going to talk about, obviously, what's happened with Bitcoin, what's likely to happen today with the jobs report, jobs news coming out. We're going to go through a target for ETH, where other people expect it to go. We're going to look at Aptos and Link, their combination. And Packer asked a question: is Pyth a good investment? So we haven't done one of these in a while, we're going to do a deep dive on Pyth. I'm going to take you through the market cap, the project itself, price action. We're going to have a look at DeFi Llama. Everything we can tell you about Pyth, we will do. And then we're going to talk about a little bit about AI. The narrative for 2025 is going to be AI. I've pretty much come to that conclusion. And of course, we're then going to talk about one of my predictions for 2025, and that is a Sam Bankman-Fried pardon. It's one of my predictions that I made at the very beginning of January. And if you don't believe me, go and have a look at my video, 2025 predictions, and you will see I mentioned that Joe Biden, it's not absolute dead certainty that he's going to pardon him, but that was one of my things. And if he does, what justice is there in the world? Anyway, enough of that. Good morning to Mags, Hidden Agendas, Bullish Bull, Kishan, Velvet Rope is here, and a few others. I hope you're doing well on this Friday afternoon. We're going to have a look at the markets first and see where we are. Fear and greed is back below 50, as you would expect with the market conditions. And last night in Telegram, when we were at 92,000, I said, everything tells me that this is a local bottom and we're going to move up. I did not have the courage of my convictions and didn't long Bitcoin. But as you can see, we're back at just under $95,000. Ethereum has gone back above 3,300. The green hourly obviously doesn't tell you the whole picture. When you look at the 7-day, most tokens are down. There are a few exceptions. If you look at Sui, for example, that's already back over $5. That didn't hang around. It's 12th. It's more than likely going to enter the top 10, probably taking the place of Tron. Not sure it's going to get near Cardano. That's going to take a massive pump. That's going to take it to over $10. I'm not sure that's going to happen. So the markets are green this morning. And yes, there are some pumpers this morning. The breaking news is one of the coins that I picked at the start of this week. I picked AI16Z, I picked Virtual, and I picked AIXBT. AIXBT is about to get listed. It's up 47% in the last hour. We're going to talk about that anyway. So as you can see, AI16Z, that is up a lot. Sui is up almost 10%, massive moves. Mantra is up. Again, we talked about Mantra at about 60 to 90 cents. And we said that was a good price to buy it. It's done incredibly well. Can it go much higher? That's the question I would have about Mantra. Or has it peaked? Who knows? Ondo is at 133. Again, anything under $1 for Ondo was a good price to get it at. How high is that going to go in this bull run? $5, maybe $10. $10 is my bullish scenario. My realistic is anywhere between 5 and 10. Let's see. Pudgy is up again. Phantom, a few gainers. And I would expect to see a couple of losers. Thor is down. Helium is down. Potenza, Maker, not too many losers. It is a bit of a bounce. Remember, nothing goes up or down forever. You should expect to see some relief. Now, whether that relief lasts very long or not is a different matter. But suffice to say, it's a Friday. We need to start the weekend as we mean to go on, and that is with a little bit of light-hearted relief. Now, I am the parrot. And that cat is my portfolio constantly going down. Okay. I have spent 3 days watching my portfolio go down. I look away, I look back, it's still going down. Okay. But as I said in Telegram yesterday, we are not going to go down forever or up forever. In fact, by the end of this bull run, you should have sold everything apart from maybe Bitcoin. These are not your children. It is not your wife. Get used to the fact that this is the year to sell. Sit on your hands for the next 6 to 9 months if the bull run goes to November, and don't worry too much about short-term price action. The jobs report comes out today. Now, the way this works is, if the jobs report is positive, the markets will tank. If the jobs report is negative, the markets will go up. The jobs report will indicate whether Chairman Powell is likely to cut rates. If it's negative, then he is going to see that as a bullish sign for rate cuts, not a bullish sign for the economy. He wants to cut rates when the economy is weak. That's what he's trying to do. He wants to cut it to try and stimulate the economy and get it going. So if the jobs report comes in strong, we could see a correction to the downside. We're going to talk about Bitcoin in a minute. Now, again, Dan Crypto Trades, we feature him an awful lot on this channel, maybe 3 or 4 times a week. Don't be surprised if it takes until the end of January to get a proper move going again. Q1 will generally end up being green, a bit choppy. Now, I agree. I don't necessarily agree with his chart. I've got my own. But I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, probably since the end of December when we started making videos again, the correction in January does not mean we're going to finish January 30% down. The correction in January can happen in the space of 2 weeks. Now, what that means is we could go down to 82,000, which is the bull market support band, and then we could finish January at $94,000, $95,000. Okay, we've still got 21 days of January left, and the market can move quite quickly. So don't panic if you see Bitcoin going to 82,000. That's the magical number. The two numbers we had, which we're going to go through, are 92 and 82. 92 we've reached. I told you about that if you were in Telegram last night. If you weren't, join, why not? But 82,000 is the target. So again, just reiterating the fact that you can use seasonality to give you an idea about where Bitcoin is going. It's not a hard and fast rule, but it does give you some idea which months are stronger and which months are weaker for Bitcoin. Now then, the Bitcoin held by the USA has not been moved or sold. This was some of the news that broke, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday. People were trying to say that this caused the FUD that caused the market to correct to the downside. I'm not too sure it was. We've seen so much of this in the last few months that now I'm pretty much immune to it. I'm not worried too much. Let's move on to more positive news. Let's have a look at chat, make sure everybody's here. KB, good morning, $84,000. Yeah, I mean, my 82,000 is not exactly 82,000. It's the number that comes to head. So we'll have a look at that in a bit. Right then, now, short-term noise is noisy and it can affect you. Longer term, towards the end of this year, the number of new wallets doesn't necessarily mean $250,000 Bitcoin. The same way we look at sentiment when they talk about GitHub commits for Solana projects or layer 1s or layer 2s, it's just yet another indication of where the market is going. That's all it is. In this instance, this is the number of new created wallets since the start of the year. As you would expect, Bitcoin and Ethereum are up there. But then you have 3 of my 4 favorite picks. Yes, Chainlink is negative. I'm not too worried about that. But Cardano and XRP, again, I never expected the narrative to get those 2 coins to pump to be Donald Trump, Brad Garlinghouse, and Charles Hoskinson. That wasn't the narrative that I thought was going to lead us onto massive pumps for these 2 coins. Cardano, I turned mega bullish when they started working towards an integration with Bitcoin. And XRP I've always been bullish on simply because they're going to work on CBDCs. They've got their own stable coin. They have their own protocol for banks. They are working on smart contracts for their ledgers. If you don't like XRP in 2025, I don't understand. If you didn't like XRP in 2022, I do understand. But you have to take new information on board. And then you have to either change your opinion or double down. And my opinion on XRP changed. It changed at the start of 2023. So I changed my opinion 2 years ago, simply because I can't not like a project simply to not like it. I have to look at the evidence. And the evidence is, unfortunately, whether you like centralization or not, XRP is here and it's going to be a top 5 coin. There's no denying it. Is it going to overtake Ethereum and Bitcoin? No. Is it going to go to $500? Absolutely not. Can it hit $5 to $10 in this bull run? Absolutely. We're already at $2.30 now, $2.40. So again, those people last year telling me when XRP was down at 30 or 40 cents that it wasn't going to do anything, and is it still a solid investment? I hope you're happy with your 8x. That's all I would say on the matter. Remember, also one thing to point out, at the end of the show, we have a Q&A. Now, this is a new section, and this is because I want you guys in chat to talk more, okay? Maybe you're all enthralled with what I'm telling you, which is fine. But if you have questions, ask them in chat, and I will ask them in the Q&A. And if you don't ask anything in the Q&A, and we don't have any time, we don't do it. It's going to be stuck at the end of the show, because I've had to redo the menu and now there's a space for an extra category. So any questions you've got about any coins, I'll answer them at the end of the show. Now then, a bit of breaking news for those of you that hold Jupe and have your Jupe staked. The checker will go live next week before Wednesday. So Monday or Tuesday next week, the checker will go live. As a rule of thumb, you are going to get, I would say, between 10 and 20% of whatever you've got. So if you have 1,000 Jupe, you are going to get 100 to 200 Jupe in this Jupery. And this Jupery happens every January. So this year, next year, and the year after, 3 definites. They're also going to do a 30% burn this quarter, and it might even be this month. 30% of the Jupe circulating supply will be gone. It will go from 10 to 7 billion. Okay, that's bullish news. Not on its own, but it's bullish news. So again, I know Solo Scan, a few people out there watch these streams back. You will be able to check Monday or Tuesday next week on how much you're going to get. And don't forget, when you get it, it will automatically be staked. So you won't be able to get it, say, on the 30th of January and sell it. If you get it on the 30th of January and you want to unstake that proportion, it takes, I believe, 28 days, I think. Right then, very quickly, this is the DXY, which we normally look at on a Monday. And I was looking at this last night because we are moving up. And what I decided to do, okay, was have a look back in time to see if we've had a similar move on the DXY. So the DXY is obviously the strength of the dollar against everything else. Now, this is a trick of the eye. Those two sets of lines are identical in length. Let's just move that down a bit so you can see. Now, and then that needs to go up a little bit. There we go. So what happened was, in this period of time here, the DXY had a massive move from the bottom to the top of this range. In this instance, we have now broken this range and we are above any point we have been for the last 2 years. I believe that the DXY is going to break down in February, not in the next 2 or 3 weeks, not today, not tomorrow. I think it's going to break down. Now, I'm not saying it's going to break down here. I think we could come down here. We don't tend to spend a very long time above the DXY bull market support band. We don't tend to spend a long time above it. And also, when we do break above it, we can forget everything back here we're talking about in the last 2 years. When we do break above it, we invariably break down underneath it. Now, this is positive for Bitcoin because Bitcoin is going against the tide at the minute. It's trying to go up and it's trying to rally into a bullish DXY. So what do you think is going to happen when the DXY breaks down? DXY breaks down, Bitcoin will rally slightly harder. Interest rates get cut by Powell this year, Bitcoin will rally slightly harder. It's like Buckaroo. Every single one of these little pieces affects Bitcoin in one way, shape or form. There isn't one thing you can watch. I think somebody put on Twitter the other day, there are 30 indicators for the end of the bull run, and we haven't hit one yet. And some people have 3 or 4 they look at. Others, they will look at a plethora of them. This is one indication, not of the end of the bull run, but where Bitcoin could go. And again, we've got to 102,000 this year. We've got to 108,000 against a rallying DXY. So if in February this starts to break down, and it won't break down overnight, it might take until September, October, which is a good sign because that's when I expect the bull run to start to get towards the end. November is my top. So if we do rally down over the next 7 or 8 months in the DXY, I would expect Bitcoin to move in a more positive direction. Had this move not happened yet, I would be a little bit less confident, but we've already done the move. And I think that's something to bear in mind. Now, moving on very quickly. Let me just very quickly make sure the stream is still operating, which we are. Perfect. So, Bitcoin plunge below critical support level could spell trouble. Here's his target. Let's see if his target tallies up with my target and see where we could go from here. So who has said this? Ali Martinez tells his 110,000 followers on social media, we could go all the way down to 74,000 if it fails to maintain 92,000. Now, 92,000 is one of my 2 targets for Bitcoin. 74,000 is below that, but that's not a problem. We can have a look. A surge in selling pressure pushing Bitcoin below 92 could spell trouble. Falling past this level opens the door to a steep drop with little support until 74,000. Now, again, that's a massive fall. That's 20%. If you take 108,000 and you take off 30%, that brings you down to this $78,000 level, $76,000 level. And I've talked about 30% corrections. So 74 to 78 would tie in with a 30% correction. But I'm not sure we're going to see a full 30% correction. 108 going down to 82, that is a $26,000 correction. That is a 25% correction, which I think is likely that we find support at that level, but we'll get there. He goes on to note that when the top crypto asset by market cap hit 102,000, the majority of traders on this exchange began to short the asset, dipped down towards 93. There we go. And this is more news. We don't need to look at that. Let's go and have a look at what I think, because you will recognize the chart that I brought up on Monday. I think it was Monday. I don't think it was Tuesday. I think I did the Bitcoin chart on Monday, and I don't think I covered it on Tuesday. So this is where we are, okay, in this range. Now, I'm not going to go over it forever, but we came into this range at the end of the year, November, and we have wicked around. We've got up to our top level there, which is the 106 closing wick, not 108 where we wicked to. We've come back down and we have found this kind of mid-range level here, okay? And you will see that I have marked off 91.2. That's the bottom of that range. And we have come down to that range 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. we've wicked to it, and then we've moved up. Now, this doesn't mean it's the end of a move down. It's just a level of support that we've built up over the previous month and a half. And we're here, and we didn't go below it. It's not like on Monday I showed you this and we did this or anything like that. No, we held the line. Now, where could we go to next? Well, 100,000 would be our ejection point. So, the jobs data that's coming out today, let's say it's super positive and everything's looking rosy, which means Chairman Powell isn't likely to cut. I have 82, it might not even be 82,100. It might even be a little bit higher. If I move my line, because this is not. So I've got 82,130. That's the tip of the bull market support band. Now, a year ago, we wicked down, but we didn't quite touch the bull market support band. We got very close to it, but we didn't touch it. So as KB says in chat, we could come down to this area on a wick. So if you draw another line in here, which is another line there, that's 87,000, okay? So anywhere in this circle that I've drawn here, that's a possibility. It's not a hard and fast crystal ball prediction. It's a possibility. We could either hold 92 today, move back up. We're at 95 now. We could move back up to 100 if the jobs report comes in negative. But if it comes in positive, we are likely to break 92,000. So we could go to 87. We could go to around 82, 83,000. Okay? Be prepared and don't panic sell now. Okay? The bull run, if I've actually drawn my line on this chart, there. That line there is where I think the bull run finishes. We are a long way from there. Okay? Now, even if the bull run finishes when other people expect, which I don't believe, other people expect us to be finishing around here. So whether you believe me or you believe other people, we're a long way away. Okay? And if you go back to this area here, which we talked about forever and a day, we went sideways for 6 whole months from about March time. If we do the same thing this year, so let's say we do finally break down and then we come back up and we get to March, there is absolutely no reason why we don't do that. Okay? And then break up towards 150,000 is what I expect. So don't panic. Short term, don't panic. Long term, keep yourself in the race. Okay? It's volatility based on not the fundamentals of Bitcoin. It's based on jobs report, inflation data, Donald Trump's inauguration on the 20th of January. I believe the FOMC meeting is the 30th of January, not next week. So we have uncertainty in some instances and major events in others. Now, because we know that the macro is going to affect us, think about the positive things that could happen between now and November that could get us to pump. Ukraine. Okay? Trump has said that he's going to sort out Ukraine. Trump has said he's going to sort out the Middle East. Okay? Those two things are going to cause price action, irrespective of Chairman Powell's rate cuts, irrespective of inflation, irrespective of the ETFs buying and selling Bitcoin and Ethereum and maybe Solana and XRP. So you could see a situation where Ukraine gets solved, then there's an issue in the Middle East, then interest rates get cut, then Trump starts to mine for oil, starts to print money, whatever. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to go in a straight line. It means we're going to do this all over the place. So there's a lot of positive things to come out. Don't be super negative because we've had a few bad days. If we go back to Peter said when we were at 49,000 that Bitcoin was a Ponzi. Okay? We came down here and Peter said it's manipulated, it's a Ponzi. And I said this is what happens in a bull run. Bitcoin only moves up for a very, very short period of time. And then the rest of the time, it moves sideways. Then you have a capitulation wick. Look at that. Look at the move over the period of time. And then look what we've done since. Okay? We move very, very quickly. And then we don't. And these liquidation wicks, we could wick to $82,000 today and be back at $105,000 by the end of the month. That's just what happens. Now, if it's your first bull run, you don't know these things happen, and that's fine. That's why you hopefully take some comfort listening to people like me that don't get too excited, don't get too depressed, because they're wicks. If you look at that, excuse me, if you look at that now, you'll see it for what it is, which is liquidation wick. But when you're in the trenches, and when you're in there and you held a, was it there, $72,000 Bitcoin, and now it's at 49. Well, if you take 30% off 72, you get to about 49,000. That's a 30% correction. So it's a standard correction. That's just what happens. If we go from 108,000 to 78,000, that's a 30% correction. That's what happens. That's the way the market works. So I'm going to move on now because we're not going to talk about Bitcoin anymore. But the point of the matter is, if we go, we've got 88,000, we've got 82,000. That's just where it's going to go. So don't be too down. I've seen so many people on X depressed because we've come back down below 100,000. Okay? The longer we stay in this range, the higher we will go. If we have a blow off top and we suddenly go to 140,000, it's not going to hold. Can somebody tell me if Doge would be good to invest in? I absolutely detest Doge. I cannot stand it. I cannot understand why it's there. It is an absolute pile of trash. Doge is not a coin for me. But does that mean it's not going to go to $1? No, it doesn't mean it's not going to go to $1. It can go up. Just because I don't like something doesn't mean it's not going to be a success. And I've watched it for a long time. It's got no max supply. It's proof of work. It's being printed into infinity. If you want a coin that replicates the US dollar, look at Doge. It's being printed and printed and printed. If you want to look at a Ponzi scheme, look at Doge. I wouldn't back Doge. If you've got money to invest, I would have a look at AI tokens because I think they're going to be the meme coin of 2025. Okay? Somebody sticks AI at the start or the end of a project, it's going to a $50 million market cap. Doesn't mean it's going to make you any money in the long term, but short term, certainly. ETH gets massive $12,000 price tag from research lead ahead of major upgrade. Full disclosure, I've said $8,000 to $10,000 for Ethereum. I tweeted that out last week. 150,000 for Bitcoin, 8 to 10,000 for Ethereum. 12,000 is certainly a wick possibility. Don't know if we're going to get to those targets. And remember, these targets are for the end of this year, not for 2029, not for 2030. At some point, if Ethereum holds together and the market matures, we will see a $20,000 to $25,000 Ethereum, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. That might happen in the next bull run. In the next bull run, we could be at $25,000. So again, you have to take predictions in the time that they are made. You can't take predictions based on, you can't take a prediction of somebody today and then expect that prediction to come true next week. That's not how it works. The same way when you ask people who's going to win the league. And I'm sure Peter is incredibly excited that Liverpool are likely to win the league this year. Brabant will get you 50 rich. Okay. Ukraine, well, yeah, he'll come in and sort it out. I think that's the key there. Anyway, let us move on very quickly. So this $12,000 target, what do we think? End of the year, yes, I do. I don't think any upgrade is going to affect Ethereum right now. I don't see any technological advancement in any of the major coins ripping them to the upside to the point where they break all-time highs this year. This 10, 11 months we've got left is solely going to be based on hype and hysteria. And the value of Ethereum is in the network effect and the fact it's got the layer 2 sitting on top. It's the number one choice for blue chip companies. BlackRock are on Ethereum. It's the money makers blockchain. All of that is the reason Ethereum is going to hold its value, not an upgrade to the blockchain, in my humble opinion. So Trump is going to come in. Also, don't forget, the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, has 10 days left. 10 days, a week and a half of Gary Gensler, and then Gary is gone. Mantra is doing well. Yeah, I think it's at $4 or something like that. I did say before you joined us, I don't know how much higher it can go. That's my my argument on that. So to reach $12,000, Ethereum must witness broader adoption with real-world assets. We know about this. The ETFs, as we said at the start of the week, November was a good month. December was an exceptional month for the Ethereum ETFs. You can't compare them to Bitcoin ETFs because Bitcoin ETFs just have an absolutely insane volume. But if you didn't have a Bitcoin ETF and you just looked at the Ethereum ETF, you'd look at it and say, that's incredible. I think it did $1 billion in December. It's only got a market cap of, what, 300 billion? It's not bad going. So for bearish, I don't think we're going to go down to $2,000. What I would say is, with Ethereum, as with a lot of these coins, you want to hold a portfolio of assets. So you want to hold Bitcoin, you want to hold Ethereum, you want to hold XRP, Solana, Cardano, yes, Avalanche, Sui. You want to hold those coins. You don't want to be all in one coin, right? If there is a structural problem with Ethereum, if there is a big problem with Ethereum, it goes down for 3 or 4 days, or BlackRock decides to move to Solana, anything like that, then it's going to affect the price of Ethereum. You want to have a portfolio. 6 to 8 assets is what you want to be holding, not one. You will see Bitcoin maxis, ETH maxis, Solana maxis telling you why they're the best coins to hold. Great. But there'll be pros and cons of every blockchain. So if you want to do a 10x in this bull run, you're not going to get that from Bitcoin. You're not going to get it from Ethereum. You're probably not going to get it from XRP anymore. You're not probably going to get a 10x out of any coin in the top. I would say you would need to be going down towards below the top 15 or 20. Below then, you have a possibility of getting a 10x. Do I see Litecoin going to $1,000, for example? Very unlikely. I think $300 to $500 is a good target for Litecoin. I think $300, $400 was one of its previous previous market cap targets. So again, you're not going to get a 10x on Bitcoin or Ethereum, but if it does a 12x, if it does $12,000, that's a 4x. If Bitcoin goes to $150,000, like I think, that's only a 50% increase from here, a half an X from here. So just be careful that when you do invest, that your expectations are not too high. You've joined the bull run in the last leg. If you're already here and you've been here for 2 years, you're already up a 7x on Bitcoin. You're already up on Solana. Solana was down at $12. You're already up a 15x. You can't come into the party at 2:05 in the morning and expect the DJ to keep playing your favourite Aussie bands, can you? The DJ wants to go home. Okay, he's maybe got half an hour left, an hour left. So when you join the party, realize you've not got as long left as the people that were here 2 years ago. Anyway, let's move on to some more news. Again, every week that goes by, we talk about more and more collabs, more and more integrations. We're going to talk about Pyth in a little bit and where we see Pyth going. But we also cannot ignore the fact that Chainlink is the #1 oracle by market cap, by integration, by volume, by partnerships, whichever metric you want to look at for Chainlink, it's #1. And now Aptos has integrated Chainlink as well. Chainlink is pretty much everywhere. I'm going to cover it a little bit later on when we look at Pyth, simply because for me, there's only 2 oracles. I know there's others listed, but for me, it's Pyth and Chainlink. And Chainlink's my #1 choice. That's the one I invested in 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. No, actually, maybe even longer than that, 3 years ago. Pyth, I got an airdrop and I sold it, and I bought a little bit recently, basically to show you how to stake your Pyth. So Aptos has integrated. How long do we have left, by the way? 24 minutes. We're probably going to have to skip on this. So basically, why is this important? Because the more blockchains that use the likes of Chainlink and Pyth, the more the data becomes more trustworthy. Okay, so having Chainlink gives you trust. They've got the CCIP, which is a protocol that allows you to move funds back and forth between blockchains. Chainlink is integrated with Visa and MasterCard. It's integrated with offline and Web 2 companies and Web 3 companies. Verifiable data comes from the fact that it can provide price feeds, the same that Pyth does. So Chainlink, for me, adding the likes of Aptos, all the layer 2s on Ethereum, I mean, it's a no-brainer to invest into the likes of Chainlink. Now, segueing into that is this. I'm going to bring up the website and then I'm going to do a little bit of a dive to show you. Hello, YouTube. Hello, indeed. Mog? No. Well, yeah, yes, Mog is okay. But I think the narrative now has moved on to AI. So I told you all about AI XBT last week, I think it was, and that's now gone up quite substantially. I told you all about AI 16Z, and I told you all about Virtual. They were my 3 picks in a video I made about AI, and I made that video on Monday, I think, just before the dump. But I still think they're the 3 coins that I would buy. Virtual, AI 16Z, and AI XBT. They're my 3 picks. Doesn't mean they're the right picks. They're my picks. So, this is Pyth, which is a market data feed. So why is this important? So basically, what Pyth does is it provides the ecosystem. Does it have a list of the integrations? I think it's got a list of things down here. So TradingView, Jupiter, other things like that. They all use this data feed from Pyth to provide pretty much instantaneous prices. Now, if you are Radium or Jupiter, or you are Aerodrome, or you are another DEX or another aggregator, you want the most accurate price for those tokens, and you get that from an oracle like Chainlink or Pyth. So that's what they do. They can do more, but let's stick to keeping it easy. They provide market data, and not just for crypto, but they also do stocks. They also do exchange rates, and they do commodities. Okay, so you've got gold, silver, you've got the US dollar, Australian dollar, you've got Apple, you've got all these kind of things. So they provide all of that data, and they provide it across different blockchains and different projects themselves. So that's what they do. Now, the question was from Packer. The question was, is Pyth a good investment? That's what he said. Let me have a quick look. Aero is good, yes. Aero is good. There's literally any DEX is going to have a good bull run, whether it be Uniswap, whether it be WolfSwap, whether it be Aerodrome, whether it be Raydium, whether it be Orca, or the aggregators, whether it be Jupiter. They're all going to have good bull runs because people trade, and people trade a lot more in the bull run. And when you have peak FOMO, people trade more. So you're going to see a period of maybe 2 or 3 months where these DEXs and their valuations are going to go through the roof. The key is to sell them when they reach the multiples from where they are now. There is no point in coming on this stream in January and typing into chat, should I sell my Raydium now? Should I sell my Aerodrome now? Because you're likely to be a month or 2 late. So you have to know when to get out. Holding your bags into next summer, what was the point of buying them? You buy them to sell them at a profit. Now then, this is breaking news. I didn't have this before I started doing the deep dive. So Revolut is going to be using the Pyth data stream. Okay, so that's the bit of breaking news that I've tagged into here. Now, DeFi Llama, let's give you a little bit of a background check on the oracles that you have. Now, total value secured across all oracles. In first place, by a country mile, you have Chainlink. Okay. In third position, you have Pyth. Now, what's interesting for me there is this: the protocols secured. Okay. And then you can see a little bit more of what spread its net out as much as it can. Now, Chainlink has over 400. Pyth has over 240. Look at the TVS. Chainlink 34 billion, Pyth 7.5 billion. Look at the volume though. Now, what could you take from this? I would say, based on this, that Pyth, based on this data, should be maybe a fifth of the market cap of Chainlink, based on a very crude comparison. And then what I'm going to show you is this, and this is the actual market caps of those coins. I'm going to go and show you the price in a minute. So Chainlink is valued at 13 billion. Pyth is valued at 1.2 billion. So Pyth, even though it has more volume processed, even though it's got 60 to 70% of the number of protocols that Chainlink has, even though it's got a fifth of TVS, it's a tenth of the value of Chainlink. So one of two things is true: either Pyth is undervalued or Chainlink is overvalued. Now, at $20 for this stage in the bull run, I think that is a solid price for Chainlink, which means for me, and if I was making my investment thesis, I would say therefore that Pyth should maybe have a market cap of maybe 4 to 5 billion. That would give it a third of the valuation of Chainlink. Okay, not a tenth of the valuation of Chainlink. So I would expect it to be higher. Even if you base it on a fifth, it should still be double its price now. So why is Pyth not doing as well as Chainlink? Well, Chainlink offers a lot more. As I said, CCIP, it's got a lot more integrations offline in Web 2 and things like that. I get that. But for sheer numbers processed, I think Pyth is undervalued. And maybe we should be looking at it being somewhere near 60 to 70 cents. Now, how then does the price action stack up of Pyth? Because we've had a couple of corrections. Would it mean that Pyth is undervalued for me if we look at previous price? So let's take the 50 to 60 cent mark. Where would that be for Pyth? Let's stick a line in here to show you where it would be. Let's call it 60 cents. Okay. So for me, it should be at least double the price it is now. Look at what the price has done since we had this correction to the downside. Again, Bitcoin came down to 92,000. It found that level, which we talked about at the start of the stream. Look what Pyth has done. It came down to the top of this channel it was in from June 24 to September 24. June, July, August, September. For 4 months, it rattled around down there. Then it came up to the top of the channel. It bounced around. Then it's broken up, hit this fib level, which was coming in about 56 cents, and it's come back down. Now, the narrative of oracles is not there. So attention is not there. Attention is with AI projects. And AI projects come out, if they sneeze, the price goes up 20%. Okay? But this is what we were saying about the likes of Cardano and XRP a year and a half ago. And we were saying they are going to have their time to shine. They're going to have their time in the sun. And they have, because of Trump, because of Charles, and because of Brad. Pyth is currently outside of the eyes of people. Now, what do you think is going to happen to the price once people realize the volume, the TVS, the number of the network effect of Pyth being across the likes of Revolut, Jupiter, all of the other DEXs that it provides data to? It's going to go up. Now, I am not saying that this is going to go to $20. I am saying that for me, the fair value is just above the fib level that it touched here, which was in December. So I think 50 to 60 cents is a really solid price for Pyth. Now, one other thing to show you before we move on. So hopefully I have helped answer Packer's question. I think it's undervalued based on a comparison with other blockchains that do other projects that do a similar thing. Now, the one other thing to mention on here is this. Let's say that you go and buy 200 or 300 Pyth. Okay. Now, I'm showing you what I have got here. Now, again, I don't have a lot. I don't even know what it's worth. $50, $30 worth of this. It doesn't matter. I bought this to show you what to do. Now, Pyth recently last year launched staking. And that helps you do two things: secure the oracle and governance. And what you do is you stake your Pyth and you stake it to a data provider. Okay, and there's only a certain limit. This is a good thing that's been introduced. It stops one staking or validator, from controlling too much of the networks. That's a solid thing to do. But you can stake your Pyth in here, and it pays you, I believe, is it 8%, something like that? 8%. So you can earn passively. Now, let's say the bull run goes to November. We've got 10 months of the year, so you're going to get a 7% return on your Pyth. So you go and buy 1,000 Pyth, and you want to sell it. You want to sell it in November when we go to all-time highs. You take your Pyth out of here, you'll have 1,070. So you'll have gained 7% on your stake, and then you will move on and sell it at the end of the bull run. So as well as being able to buy it and hold it on the exchange, by all means, you can, if you want to learn a little bit more about the ecosystem, you can get yourself a Phantom wallet, stick the Pyth into there, connect it up to the staking platform, and then decide if you're going to use it on the DAO or you're going to use it on the validators. So that's the last thing to do. So you can earn a little bit in the background. It is only 7%. If you've only got 100 or 50 of these things, don't bother. If you want to go and buy $500 to $1,000 of Pyth, then I would certainly consider telling you to go and stake it, just to A, help the ecosystem, and B, earn a small amount of passive income. And there is an unlocking period, which I believe is about 21 days. So what would that mean? If we think the bull run finishes in November, unlock in September. So that gives you between January and September to stake and earn some rewards, and maybe learn a little bit about the ecosystem while you are at it. How long do we have left? We have got 10 minutes left, and we've got two things to talk about. and the Q&A. We don't appear to have too many questions in the Q&A. We have got one, which is a couple of things. Yeah, we've got a couple of questions there. Okay, we'll answer those questions in a minute. Now, this is the... Again, I am not condoning any of these coins listed in this article, okay? I am just showing you the narrative that appears to be going round. And I have made a couple of videos already. Now, the reason is, let me just preface this. I spent the majority of last year trying to stop people from buying meme pre-sales. And I was telling you that you shouldn't be buying meme coins until they've been listed on exchanges. The exchange you're on now. Don't go and buy unless they're listed on there. Have a set of parameters, maybe $300 million bottom for the meme coin. Don't buy anything above $1 billion because it's going to struggle to get any higher. I've done the same kind of video for AI coins. Now, you and I do not know who is going to win the AI agent race or the AI launchpad race. We don't know who's going to win just yet because it's a brand new market. It's only got a $14 billion market cap for AI tokens. Now, AI agents are predicted to be the hottest narrative, and I think they are. I think we've seen a switch from meme coins to AI. And the reason we've seen that switch is how many meme coins have you seen pop up on your thread in the last week or maybe 2 weeks? I would say none. Since the Pengu launch, I've seen no meme coins mentioned. I've seen everybody talk about AI agents. Now, because everybody's talking about AI agents, what's going to come with that? The scammers, the rug pullers, the people trying to give you a pre-sale on AI tokens that never appear, and they're going to try and scam you. So I will use the same set of rules that I use for meme coins in AI projects, and I've made the video about it. Go and watch it. Nobody's watched that video because AI is currently all over the streaming channels, so it's not going to get picked up. If you don't watch it, you're not going to understand what I'm talking about now, and that is you should have the same set of rules. Don't touch AI tokens until they're listed on centralized exchanges. Do not buy a pre-sale for an AI token. Don't buy an AI agent with a $3 million, $5 million market cap, okay? 99.9% of the ones at that level are going to go to zero because this is an attention grab. 3 or 4 of the really good projects are going to grab the attention and they're going to moon. AI16Z, Virtuals are going to moon. The others, if they don't get the attention and they don't get the buying power and they don't get the adoption, it doesn't matter if it's the best solution on the planet. It's not going to work. And this article, we're going to go through it. I'm going to give him his due. He might be very good in this article. I've not read it. He might give us he might give 7 coins that are worth looking at, but just be careful. So I think we are going to look at some of these coins on here. The analyst highlights projects spanning different AI applications. Dolos, the bully, operates autonomous agent across social platforms. Again, you've got to be careful as well. There is a lot of talk about AI bots being used to manage your X account. You're going to get banned, okay? So if you use an AI agent and you connect it up to your X account and it gets flagged by X, it's going to get you banned. It's got people banned in the past. So be very careful when you're looking at anything to do with social media. Stoic is a different approach, aiming to provide market guidance and volatility. $17.3 million market cap. Won't touch that with a barge pole. Luna, I've heard. Again, that's got a $111 million market cap. That could be something to look at. We're going to go have a look at the chart in a minute. Solgraph has a $28.5 million market cap. Again, there's high-risk plays, and then there is degen plays. These coins mentioned are all degens, and I'm going to show you why in a minute. AI agent market could follow growth patterns seen in previous crypto trends. Delhi peaked at 200 billion market cap. Sorry, DeFi peaked at $200 billion market cap. NFTs reached 100 billion. I don't compare AI agents to DeFi or NFTs. They're three totally different things. NFTs have their own community. DeFi is just going to get stronger and bigger. DeFi is going to be a big play this year, especially now we have an American government that doesn't want to stamp all over crypto. That's something to be aware of. So, Neurobro, again, I've heard of that one. These are good. But I think I'm not going to show you anymore. This is the one article I didn't read. There's one article I don't read every stream, and this is the one I haven't read. I'm going to go and show you what I talked about in my video, simply because the majority of you haven't watched the video, and that makes me sad. So if we go to AI agents, we're not going to go to AI agent launchpad. Okay, so this is now a $10.8 billion market cap because, of course, we've had the correction. So we're talking about a very small group of projects that don't really have, I mean, you've got 3 projects in here that have reached $1 billion. The rest of them are way under. The picks that I gave you a week ago were Virtuals, AI16Z, and AIXBT. And they weren't in this order when I gave you those picks, okay, before you say anything. And of course, number 1 is FET. Number 1 is FET. We've been talking about FET now for 2 years, maybe even 2.5 years. We talked about FET. We did a live stream about FET over 2 years ago. And it's now become the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance, ASI. And it's merged with Oceans, and it's merged with Agix and FET to become this. And I think somebody else has joined them as well now. But why would I pick those coins? Very simply put, it's such a new market that we don't know what's going to be a success. We're just sticking the word AI on things and seeing if anybody buys the token. Or we're launching a project on Virtual and seeing what gets picked up. So expect some of these projects down here in this range to absolutely fly. Expect collabs with AI16Z and other projects. Expect there to be a kind of an expansion in this market. This is probably going to be $100 billion market cap niche before the end of the year, maybe even by the summer. Okay, so that's a 10x on this market. It's got such, I mean, it has a smaller market cap combined than Chainlink or what's the one I was going to mention then? Sui. So they're going to grow and you're going to make money in AI tokens. But the problem is you don't just go and buy any token. You have to look at the front runners. AI16Z could very well go to 5 to 6 billion. Virtuals could probably go to the same, maybe 10 billion. I've said all along, this is a $5 project. That's another, let's call it a 4x. So that takes it to 12 to 13 billion. So even if you just picked the top 4 tokens there, you should expect a 4 to 5x. And I'm not talking about a 4 to 5x in 3 years' time. I'm talking about a 4 to 5x in the next 3 to 6 months, if not sooner. On top of that, the thing that I said in my video is, you've got to have a cutoff point below which these tokens just become too risky to invest in. You don't have the time to go and look at each one of these tokens. So you need to apply some rules. And those rules are very simple. Minimum market cap, doxed team, roadmap, tokenomics. If you say, I'm not going to look at anything under $100 million, for example, that puts you Spectral. You're starting to look at names that have popped up in chat before. Zerebro, Swarm, again, the ones we've talked about. But you're looking at maybe, Ori Chain as well. You're looking at maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You're looking at 11 projects. If we follow the same path that we do with meme coins, where I say, if you want to buy a bag of meme coins, go and buy 5 or 6 and stick them to one side and have them separate for your main portfolio. If I'm talking about 11 AI projects and I'm saying do 5 or 6 in a portfolio like you've done with meme coins, that's 50% of the coins that's already on this list. That's probably too risky a strategy either. So what I would probably say is get the top 4 Then, of the ones I have heard of, I would look at Arai. I've heard of Spectral. I've also heard of Swarms, and I would look at some of those. So if you're taking the top 4, that leaves you to go and research 7. That's probably the only thing I can give you to help you right now until this market expands and matures, because it's so brand new. But it's riskier than meme coins. It's riskier buying Griffane, Griffane. It's riskier buying that than it is to go and buy the likes of Dog with Hat or Mew or any other one of these more established meme coins, because those meme coins have been around for 2 years, a year and a half. These are either brand new projects that have just popped up, been launched on virtual, or they're getting their time in the sun. So you have to be careful when you look at these types of coins, because they are high risk. But I know if I don't talk about them, people are just going to mention them in chat. So I talk about them the same way I have to talk about meme coins, and I'm not a big fan of meme coins. If it's not on a centralized exchange, if it's not got a $300 million market cap, I'm really not interested. Now then, I made a prediction. Good morning, Eugene. And Danny, good morning. I hope you are well. Right, very quickly then. We are past time. I made a set of predictions in a video for 2025 predictions, and my number 5 prediction was that Biden was going to pardon Sam Bankman-Fried. Now, Joe Biden has gone around and pardoned Hillary Clinton. He's pardoned Fauci. Is he called Anthony Fauci? Something like that. He's pardoned 1,000 people, 2,000 people. I can't remember what the number is. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried is the second largest donor to the Democrat Party in the history of the Democrat Party, as far as I'm aware, behind George Soros. If anybody is going to get pardoned this year in the next 10 days, it's going to be Sam Bankman-Fried. And if you think that's not going to happen because he's serving 25 years, whatever else it might be, Ross Ulbricht, who created Silk Road, he will be pardoned by Donald Trump when Donald Trump comes into power in 10 or 11 days' time, whatever it might be. So can Sam Bankman-Fried be pardoned? Yes. Can he be released? Yes. Is it going to happen? When I made my video, I thought maybe a 10% chance it's going to happen. But this article has picked it up. And he is talking about, or they are talking about, Polymarket, which predicted the election, of course. Let's make this a little bit bigger so you can see. Who will Biden pardon? You can see up here. Liz Cheney, Fauci is there, number 1. SBF is there. I'm not quite sure why he would pardon Donald Trump. But anyway, I think there is some substance to Sam Bankman-Fried being pardoned. And I think, I'm not going to obviously bet on it, but when it comes out, don't be surprised, because if you're a donor to the Democrat Party, as Sam Bankman-Fried is, and you have the power to pardon them, you're going to wait for the dust to settle, as he's done, and he will probably pardon him, and he'll probably get out. So anyway, that's it for the news. Very quickly, then let's go through the Q&A, even though we don't have any time. Let's have a look. We have got PAL AI. Yeah, that's been covered before. If it's not in the AI list of AI agents, it's not something that's going to be in the narrative, but it will still pump. Aero is going to do exceptionally well within the next 6 to 9 months. Absolutely. Pyth has 10 billion coins. How is it going to 10x? Because there is no correlation between the number of coins and the market cap. There is no correlation. Look at the number of Dogecoins. There is 147 billion, and it has a market cap of 50 billion, okay? So how is Pyth going to 10x? Because the value of the coin will go to $3.30. That's it. Very simply put. You look at Bitcoin, 19, nearly 20 million coins, okay, has the biggest market cap. This has 120 million ETH. But then look at the number of XRP. The number of coins does not equate to anything, okay? It matters when you look at circulating supply versus total supply. That's what matters. If you have 100 billion tokens and they are all in circulation, then it doesn't matter about the number of coins. If you have 100 billion tokens and there's only 10 billion in circulation, that matters, because that means that 90 billion coins at some point are going to appear on the market and flood the market and depress the price, okay? So that's when it matters, circulating versus total supply. That's why Jupiter are burning 30% of the supply to bring that down, because they're not in circulation. But that's not a metric for you to invest in a project. Dogecoin is the 7th largest crypto asset in the world. It is being printed into infinity, yet somehow has a 34-cent price. And that number on the right-hand side, that's 147 billion, is just going to keep going up, okay? Look at the number of Cardano. It makes no difference, okay? Unless the circulating and total supply don't match. Anyway, that is enough of me waffling on. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I will see you all on Monday. I'm going to make some videos today and tomorrow and Sunday. Thanks. Everybody have a great weekend. Let's hope that the jobs report data is bad and Bitcoin pumps. If it doesn't, don't panic. We are nowhere near the end of the bull run. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye.